This issue about calmness, I will not lie to you. One of my biggest shifts in life actually happened when I mastered the art of being calm and not being worried by anything. And of course, like I always tell my staff, I don't think some of them are here. I don't think they have ever seen me where I have overshouted and disrespected them, or I am so mad at something and all of that. But it doesn't mean I don't discipline. There is a discipline system, there's a discipline structure in place for all of that, and policy and all of those things. But in the midst of chaos and all of that, or not just being worried about what you're going to eat, what you're going to wear, being worried about your own future. That's one thing about the journey into success. When you have passed that level whereby you are so confident that anything else is going to happen, life is going to do what I want to do. But one thing is certain is that you are going to succeed. Then you have started entering the realm of success. If you are still at that realm, if you are still at that realm where and you're still worried about, will I succeed? Will I make it? Will I do this? You're worried about a lot of things, which most of the time are just emotions. I am not taking the right actions. You are not yet entering the realm of success. You see, so start entering that. And calmness is an asset to the mind. Yes. You remember that your mind is one of the greatest assets that God gave you, but calmness is the right asset that amplifies your ability to actually make good use of the mind. That is your ability to do that. So if you are not able to calm down your mind, especially when you're building something, if you are not able to calm down your mind, trust me, you're going to have some of the, how do I say this? Some of the biggest problems of making maximum use of these assets that God gave you. You're going to have very big problem. Why? Because the mind cannot be resourceful in the midst of trouble. It is hard. It is hard for the mind to be resourceful in the midst of trouble. I was reading this story of that Pastor Mensa Otabil of Ghana shared about Bishop David Oyedepo, and he said that Bishop David Oyedepo has there's his library, and then he also has what he calls a thinking room. This is a room that is painted white, and this room has an office chair, has a small table with an empty paper and a pen. When he wants to think, he enters that room, and the mind calms down and he focuses on thinking. So he has a thinking time, he has a thinking room, and he has a thinking chair. So he brings his mind to that particular level of operations. You see, so the question is, what can you do to keep your mind calm? And Treasure already suggesting some of the things. And one of the best things is to just make up your mind that you have outgrown the ability to make your mind to be worried. You have passed that level. You operate from another realm. Number two is that calmness is a result of something. Calmness is the result of something, which is self-control. It was mentioned there, right? Calmness is the result of self-control. Calmness doesn't happen by chance. It doesn't happen by guesswork. It doesn't just happen that, oh, I think I think I can be calm. No, it's intentional. Something happens like that. You just make up your mind at that moment, I'm going to be calm. I'm going to relax. And it also depends also on the situation where you find yourself. There are some people that, like Robin shares this her stuff, where when anything happens, she counts on 1 to 10 in her heart before she reacts. And between that 1 to 10 seconds, she's calming herself.
I don't know whether it's network problem or not.
I think others, your network, just check. So you see, so it's very important for you to have modalities. And also in a relationship or in a family, you guys can be so intentional about helping people to be calm and solve a problem by making decisions. I was reading one article, and a couple agreed that they will never be, all of them will never be angry at the same time. That was an agreement they made. And that agreement has lasted for 23 years. So the agreement they made is that all of us should never be angry at the same time. So what does that mean? If I'm the husband and you're the wife and we're arguing about something and you notice that I am entering that level where I'm very angry and I've entered the level I'm not supposed to enter, you don't need to enter that same level also. You need to discipline yourself, even if I'm the one on the wrong. Like for the sake of our agreement as a couple, for the sake of love and support and unity and all of that, if you notice that I have overstepped my bounds in terms of anger, what do you need to do? You step out, you step back. You step back so that two mad people cannot bring calmness. So there must be a one serene person to help the mad person to calm down. And the same, if we're arguing and notice I'm the husband and notice that the wife has entered another realm, I should not also enter because I want to claim I'm the man or want to also claim I can shout. No. Even if she's the one who is wrong, I need to remember our agreement and relax and try to calm her down, and then we'll talk things out in a calm environment. And that man said that is what has kept their marriage as a beautiful marriage for the past 23 years. So calmness is intentionality. Calmness is commitment. Calmness is actions and strategies. You see, another stuff. The agreement was that we're never going to sleep when we're angry at each other. We apologize. We humble ourselves and apologize before we go to bed. You see, calmness is a decision, is a commitment. And one thing about calmness is that it's understanding of self. When you understand yourself greatly, when you understand yourself very, very well, it becomes easy for you to be calm because you know your strength, you know your weaknesses, you know what you can take. Like I always say, some people say that, no, it's my nature to be very angry. Now, so when I'm vexed and so are they. That's the most stupid thing I hear people talk about. So see, you know that when you get angry, why don't you just repent and change and control it? Like seriously. When somebody said that, and the way some of them say it with so much proud there, so much pride and all of that. Like, when I vex my own, and I saw a day, and so what? Is that not the most stupid thing to say? If you know that when you get angry, why not just discipline yourself and not get to that level? You're just a mad person in dressing very well. You see, so understand yourself, know what you can handle and what you cannot handle, and build yourself also in that particular capacity and be able to do that. And your level of exposure and access to superior knowledge increases your calmness. Yes. Like for example, have you let me not go about calmness. Have you noticed that since you started studying the right information and getting access to the right support and knowledge and all of that, have you noticed that your attitude towards life is changing? Yes. If you have noticed carefully, some things that you used to look at in a certain way, and they're now more different. And sometimes after some few months, you look at yourself and why did I used to behave like this anyway? Why? Is because your knowledge of self is changing, your knowledge of how life should be is changing, your exposure to other people's thinking, your exposure to opportunities, your exposure to new cities, and that's why traveling is very powerful. When you travel and see things, it humbles you. You see, some things that you make notes about, you see what you have, when you see what other people have done and all of that, it humbles you to calm down and to focus on the right thing. So keep on studying, keep on stretching yourself, keep on attending events, keep on pushing for exposure and having access to superior knowledge as far as life is concerned is going to give you this powerful asset of calmness. And of course, calmness is power. Your thinking is higher in the midst of calmness. Calmness is a lot of power. That's why I look at great people. So the best things that you have ever created were created when your mind was very calm, whether you like it or not. That's why if you look at, for Christian people, you pray, you look at sometimes when you're praying, your mind is giving you ideas. Has somebody gone through that? Like you're praying seriously, but you have business ideas, you have book ideas. But something just happens, like it happens naturally. It comes because during the prayer stage, your mind is different. Especially if you are praying from a place of thanksgiving and appreciation and all of that, your mindset is different. Your mindset is very calm and it is thinking at a different capacity. If you notice when you are dancing or when you are praising, when you are singing songs, you must have noticed that your mind gives you ideas, some things that you even forgot. That and or even like some of the things I've had issues doing. Sometimes when I'm just singing a song and whatever, I get the real solutions to those problems. You see. So also, if you notice you're in the shower and you're taking your bath, some ideas always come to mind. Some very good ideas always come to mind because at that stage your mind is very calm, it's very, very serene, and the best thinking comes from the place of calmness. Like you intentionally go for a retreat to calm your mind, you intentionally do something to calm mind. Every human being or every successful person actually has something they do to bring their mind to a stage of calmness, to a stage of calmness. Like, for example, do you know that people like Mark Zuckerberg and all of that, they go to China for meditation and all of that, and they meditate for months or weeks and all of that. And that's where they build all these innovations that they come and add to their companies and all of that. They do that. They do that, you see. So it is very, very powerful for you to intentionally invest in calmness. And of course, one thing I love about that in that chapter was how the author said that self-control is strength and right thought is mastery. Self-control is strength when you have the power to self-control yourself. You have the power not to just talk anyhow when you're angry. You have the power not to react anyhow. That is powerful strength. You have the power when somebody comes and complains stuff to you, calm down and you sort it out gradually. The right thought. If you desire mastery at anything, hear this carefully. If you desire mastery in business, whatever you desire to do in life, the right thinking is the bedrock of mastery. And the right thinking comes from the place of calmness. If your mind is not calm, you will never think straight. That's why you have never done anything that makes sense when you're angry. That's when somebody is angry, they can shoot somebody with a gun. They can cut somebody with a machete. They can slap somebody. You see, a husband can slap a wife and all that. When they're angry and all of that. That's the most stupid thing that you can do. That's why it's the right thinking is mastery. People have mastered how to think from the place of calmness. They operate at a unique level of mastery in what they do. And that's why incredible creations, incredible innovations don't come from a confused mind, don't come from a rowdy mind. No, it comes from a mind that is calm and can practice right thinking, which can produce incredible results. To conclude about this is, in the midst of chaos, in the midst of chaos, in the midst of troubles, people and institutions look for people with calmness, people with superior thinking, and people who can provide solution to the chaos. Yes, in the midst of chaos. That's why in consulting, hear this today, for those who desire consulting, you can never, ever, ever succeed in consulting if you are emotional anyhow. First of all, nobody will come to you. In the midst of chaos, that's why in consulting, when somebody is in chaos, who do they call first? They call you. Most of you here, when you're going through stuff, when you're calling me to complain your stuff, do you even ask me, sir, how is the state of your emotions? Are you okay? You don't even bother asking that, right? You just go straight to complaining. Oh, so this was happening to me. What should I do? Oh, this is what I've done, this is what I've done, this. Because you just believe that I'm okay with it, right? You don't even bother to, this man is not in the right. So I need to keep myself right for the sake of it. Yeah, I must be okay, right? Like I was telling somebody, I'm not permitted to the average, even not for myself, for the people who look up to me. I am not permitted to be average. Just a complaint that people give to me, I am forced to be on another level. I'm forced to operate from another level. I'm forced to take charge of my emotions. I'm forced to take charge of my self-control. I'm forced to take charge of my mind and make sure it is clear at all times. And that's what I always say, for those of you, when you're getting married, be careful. I don't need somebody to come and give me headache. Headache for my clients is already double. So if you are giving me headache, you will just pack your things and go. So that let me focus on solving my problem that I enjoy solving. What am I trying to say? What I'm saying is, when you know what to do, is very important. Who you get married to or who you date and whatsoever is very, very critical, right? So in the midst of chaos, follow this carefully, in the midst of chaos, people look for people with calmness. One, they look for people with superior thinking. Two, and they look for people who can create solutions in the midst of chaos. And then nobody, no human being can create a solution in the midst of chaos with a crowded mind, with a wrong thinking mind. People who have mastered the art of creating solutions in the midst of chaos are people who have mastered the art of calmness and the art of superior thinking in the midst of chaos. For example, COVID-19. In the midst of Corona COVID-19, companies were shutting down, things were happening and so on. If I tell you the companies I received were calling for advice, because in the midst of, in a case like COVID-19, when borders are being shut, sales are not happening, every executive is stressed out, is depressed. Imagine some people who took loans last year to invest in business. They are taking a loan in December 2019 to invest in their business, and December ending January, boom, COVID-19 comes, the airport is shut down, how do they call this? The seaport is shut down, people cannot travel, money is not circulating as you expected when you're taking that loan, the interest is increasing, and money, business is not doing very well. You are depressed, you are worried, you struggle. So who did they call to? Joybert, another consultant. And other consultant also went into chaos in the midst of stuff. I know many guys are reaching me, how were you able to stay sane in the midst of all of this? You see, it takes a lot of practice, it takes a lot of self-control and intentionality to do that. So in all you do, that's one thing that I want us to achieve for everybody in the midst of this personal development. Come to a level, into a stage where life issues don't bother you. Like I always tell my staff, when you're walking under the sun, make sure you enjoy the sun. When you're walking under the rain, make sure you enjoy the rain. If you have a car, enjoy the car. If you cannot have it, you have a car, you can trick, enjoy the tricking. That is a superior level of calmness and self-control. You see here that when it's raining, you complain, oh, it's raining. When it's shut, it's that sun done too much. When somebody has done this, you complain. When they have done this, you complain. No. One state of calmness is that you have come to them, you enjoy anything you have embarked to do. When it's time to sleep, enjoy the sleep. When it's time to study, enjoy the studies. Stop seeing studies and waking up as a burden. It means you have not yet mastered calmness and self-control. When you have gari to suck, enjoy the gari that you have. If you have rice and chicken, enjoy it at that particular moment. But by all means, make sure that you are so calm and you should enjoy every moment of life. And when issues come, you don't overreact. You calm yourself, you practice superior analysis and thinking, and you provide a solution and you push forward. That is how you are going to win in life. All right, people.